and we begin by queering up sports. Conservatives are alarmed by Taylor Swift, the Superbowl, and LGBTQ+. The prevailing paranoid mindset within the radical right and evangelical circles came to the forefront this week after the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship. Afterwards, a segment of the assertive male TV audience collectively conjured up a pervasive deep state threat, even within the rugged world of team sports. Notably, the perceived threat isn't male, but female, as evidenced by an on-field kiss after the game between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Her immense popularity has become a focal point with conservative radicals. Media outlets like Fox News, Newsmax, and OAN are contributing to a conspiracy theory that suggests Swift and Kelce are part of a coordinated effort to endorse Joe Biden at the Super Bowl. The concern is Swift could mobilize her devoted fan base, known as Swifties, to register and vote, implicating the entire city of Kansas City and the NFL in the scheme. This conspiracy narrative bears a resemblance to tactics familiar to the LGBTQ+ community, where our identity is often exploited as a scapegoat strategy to divert attention from other issues.
A lot of really weird, lonely, insecure men out there. The fact that a pop star, the world's biggest pop star, is dating a star tight end who had one of his greatest games ever, and a network puts them on the air briefly, that it bothers you. What does that say about your life? Judge people sometimes on the silly stuff that bothers them. It'll tell you a lot about them. When I hear this whole thing about Taylor Swift, I just want to watch football. Liar. You're lying. That's not true. A football telecast is not just football. In fact, the commercials for 4 hours before the Super Bowl will be widely watched. Did you know statistically in a 3.5-hour NFL playoff broadcast or regular season broadcast, just 18 minutes are actual football? And we have the data, we have the numbers. You don't turn away. There's coaches cutaways. They show fans in Buffalo on fire, commercials, reviews, 18 minutes of real football. For the record, about the length of 5 Taylor Swift songs. Listen to this. The New York Times measured how long she was actually on the broadcast. Do you know how long it is on average? 25 seconds in 3.5 hours. Against the Ravens, it was up to a whopping 32 seconds. It was 14 Chiefs and Raiders on Christmas, 12 Chiefs and Bengals, 24 seconds, Buffalo, Kansas City. She was on for a minute against the Dolphins, but it was an absolutely awful broadcast. They should have had a concert in the middle of it. That would have been more interesting. And why wouldn't CBS, which you know has the Grammys, cross-promote the world's biggest pop star? Hey, listen, I worked at the other network. I work at Fox. I've seen us jam people on TV shows I would never watch during football games and sporting events. Don't forget to watch this right after the game. I've already forgot about it. Let's get back to the game. But I don't have to rush to social media. I'm okay with it. Here's the other thing that strikes me. Matthew McConaughey. All right. Love him. Drake on everything. Spike Lee, Knicks games, Eminem, Michigan sporting events. We celebrate it. 80s, 90s, Jack Nicholson Laker games is cool. Saw Jack. But a talented and beautiful woman is on the air, one who would never pay attention to lonely men, and it bothers them. There's a stat out there, it's kind of uncomfortable for you sad guys, that 50% of men never have real intimacy with a woman. That means the other 50% have multiple intimate relationships with women. And those ones that don't are angry and sad and lonely, and they are often misogynistic and resent women who didn't give them the time they think they deserve. We celebrate all these goofballs jumping on tables in Buffalo and cheese hats and men and Matthew McConaughey and Drake and Jack Nicholson, men and Eminem, and it's cool, and can I get a selfie, and I can't believe I saw. And a young, attractive, beautiful, talented woman comes on for 25 seconds. And you're bothered. Again, judge people by the silly things that bother them. This says nothing, this anger. This says nothing about Taylor Swift. It says everything about the men bothered by it. Let me defend.
Drop mic. I have nothing else to say. That was Fox Sports' Colin Cowherd on The Herd, and he says it all. Why are we so bothered? And I've been thinking about this for a while, because like he said, Drake and Jack, and there's always been celebrities at games. If they, and of course, sharing screen time with Taylor is Travis's mom. No one's complaining about that. If they were showing the mom every time Travis made a big play, nobody here would say a word. But because he's in this relationship that is, by default in our culture, fodder for the media.
Yeah, it's public.
He comes out and he kisses her after winning an AFC Championship. Good for him. Good for him. And I believe, Colin, the word you were looking for was incel. Incel. Bitter males who couldn't get laid. Yeah. Know where.
Even their hands don't want any part of it.
I think I have an answer to that question about Taylor Swift. What it is that they are afraid of her and the power of her fans.
Yes.
When Taylor Swift encouraged people to vote in one concert, 35,000 people signed up. Right. They went and registered to vote, and think about who Swifties are. Mm-hmm. They are generally younger, so millennial. They're generally liberal-leaning. They're generally a lot of women
and gays,
and both women's rights and gay rights are on the line. If these conservative men have their say, and the orange one gets elected.
There is a part of me as a gay person who often has to live in fear of what the next horrible thing a straight person could potentially do to us. I enjoy watching these squirming, radical, right-wing religious fanatics experiencing terror, the same terror that I have often experienced as a gay man, afraid of these people. And it really is because of her power that they believe that she has, right or wrong.
Taylor Terror.
Taylor
Terror.
I think you absolutely got it right. Nail on the head. It's multifaceted. Yes, there's a misogynistic
absolutely
piece of that. It is also the conservatives that are mad about this are afraid of people voting. They don't want people to vote. They don't want her to motivate people.
They don't want young people.
They don't want you. They don't want anyone to vote. They don't want young people. They don't want people to vote that they don't think are going to vote for them. Is really what it is. And what is the alternative for conservatives here? Are they going to vote for, or are they going to root for San Francisco over?
Actually,
I just love that dichotomy.
Believe it or not, Franklin Graham, the notorious anti-LGBTQ evangelical everything, has publicly come out to tell evangelicals to support San Francisco's quarterback because he's Christian.
Oh, yeah.
Because somehow, apparently, Patrick Mahomes, I have no idea what's
well, I mean, clearly God loves the 49ers and hates the Lions, because that's the only explanation for what happened this last weekend. Ty, do you have anything?
I don't like to pretend I know what Taylor Swift, Jesus, or conservatives are thinking.
Well, I'll tell you, there was a good article yesterday on TMZ where they said that Trump and his team are prepared to wage holy war on Taylor Swift and the Swifties if she comes out and supports Joe Biden, which just is, it's ridiculous on its face. But you also have to step back for a second and think, who are they trying to is Swift trying to motivate to vote? Because Swifties bought tickets like a year in advance, and they blacked out the date, much like, election day. They black out the date. They spend a ton of money to make sure they get to this one spot and do the one thing that they've planned to do for a year. So if she can take that and motivate Swifties to apply the same principle to voting, then yes, there should be some concern among the Mar-a-Lago crowd. Where should they be concerned at? Well, they should be concerned in Michigan. They should be concerned in central Pennsylvania, which is very red. But if you don't carry it by it, if it's not red enough, you'll lose Pennsylvania. Those are the types of places that they need to be concerned about. Outside of Las Vegas, it's red, but if it's not red enough, the Republicans lose. They know this, and they're going to put Taylor Swift up there as a boogeyman, and I have a feeling that is going to work about as well as DeSantis making Mickey Mouse the boogeyman. Spoiler alert, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's right.